Eccoci, buongiorno a tutti e benvenuti a Coffee Break Italian. Io sono Mark.
Salve a tutti, io sono Francesca.
Come stai, Francesca?
Sto molto bene, Mark, grazie. E tu come stai?
Benissimo, benissimo, molto contento di fare ancora un live, come si direbbe?
Una diretta.
Una diretta. Allora, facciamo una diretta dalla Scozia e anche dall'Italia per tutto il
Sì,
mondo oggi. We're delighted
che
to
bello.
we're delighted to be back with another live. And this morning we're broadcasting from. I'm in Scotland. Francesca's in Italy, and we are delighted to be joining lots of you from all around the world. Let's see who we have this morning. We've got Paul joining us on YouTube. Ciao Mark e Francesca, ecco Paul da Herefordshire, dove abbiamo il sole oggi. You've got a lot of luck today because it's absolutely pouring in Scotland. What's the weather like in Italy, Francesca?
È una bellissima giornata di sole, ci sono le montagne qua davanti a me, vorrei potervele mostrare. E sì, fa molto freddo, ma c'è un sole fantastico.
You're lucky. You're very lucky, but I'm pleased to hear that. You'll be pleased to know that it's pretty grey here in Scotland. Anyway,
Oh,
let's see who else we have today.
sì, Mark, non si vedono i commenti sullo
Ah,
schermo.
okay. Aspetta. Okay. Let me see. Can you see the comments now?
Sì, esatto, abbiamo Su, buonasera da Melbourne, Australia. Ciao Su.
Ciao Su. Abbiamo anche Trisha. Buongiorno da Wimbledon. Excellent. Good morning.
E poi Dina o Daina, non sono mai sicura. Ciao Dina o Daina da Cheshire.
We've got Peter joining us from Dorset. We've also got Christopher in East Sussex.
E un'altra Su, il mio favorito, il mio preferito, sì.
We've got, excuse me, Margaret near Canberra. Fantastic.
E Malin, un nostro affezionato, buongiorno dalla Svezia. Ciao Malin.
God morgon, Marlene. We've also got Julia from Sydney. Good morning, or good evening, rather, for you, Julia.
E Lidia da Manchester. Ciao Lidia.
We've also got Hanukkah joining us. You are very welcome here. Let's see. We've got Mario joining us saying good morning to you both. Who else do we have?
Ariel da Tel Aviv. Wow, ciao Ariel.
We've also got Rob joining us, not far from Hereford. And we also have Rachel from Sicilia. Buongiorno, Rachel.
E Su da Rochdale. Ciao Su.
I love this. Denise is joining us from UK Castle, and she has the decorators in, and the decorator is fluent in Italian, so listening to as he works. Buongiorno, signore.
Buongiorno, signor decorator.
Now, let us talk about what we're doing today, because today we're going to be doing some dictation. This is a different type of activity, and it's a really, really useful activity to help you practice to write in Italian and think about the way the Italian language works. So, what you will definitely need today is your. Oh, why is this not working? Your pen and paper or your wee jotter. And that will
Molto
ensure
importante.
that you will have something to write down, because you're going to be writing down what you hear. Now, just a little bit of explanation. We are going to be using words in this exercise. Basically, Francesca's going to be reading out some sentences, and you're going to be writing down the story as she reads it. And as she reads it, she'll also read the punctuation signs. So, Francesca, do you want to go through these punctuation signs just now?
Certo, Mark. Allora, abbiamo punto, virgola, due punti, punto e virgola, punto interrogativo, punto esclamativo, virgolette e puntini di sospensione.
So, as you're listening to the sentences and the story being read, then you need to be also listening for this punctuation, because that will give you a clue as to which punctuation marks to put into what you're writing. So, that's very important. Francesca, any other tips about dictation in general?
I would say don't worry too much if there is a word you don't understand, just leave a space
Absolutely.
and just continue. Try and get the overall meaning and use your knowledge of Italian to tidy up endings or spelling, indeed.
Exactly. The clock has reached zero. That means it's time to get started with our lesson. As usual, we'll put 20 minutes on the clock and we will get started straight away. So, just as what Francesca said there, don't worry if you get stuck at something, just leave a space and move on. Otherwise, you'll spend too much time trying to work out what you should have said and you won't be concentrating on what's coming afterwards. Francesca is going to read the whole story first. And when you're listening to this, just listen at first. Don't try to work things out. Don't try to write anything down. Just listen to get a little bit of an idea of the story. And then we'll hear each sentence read 3 times in total. So we'll read it once, then again, then leave you some space, and then you'll hear it a 3rd time. So you've got plenty of time to write things down when it comes to it. First time through, it's just to get a chance to hear the story. Francesca, vuoi cominciare?
Sì, certo. Allora, siete pronti? Gigliola vive a Bisceglie, una meravigliosa località di mare in Puglia. Le sue 2 figlie sono fortunate perché ogni giorno giocano sugli scogli oppure cercano le conchiglie in spiaggia. Ma ieri il tempo era brutto, quindi le 2 bambine sono rimaste a casa e hanno aiutato la loro mamma. Giulia ha svuotato la lavastoviglie e Cecilia ha preparato una torta alle ciliegie e vaniglia per il compleanno di zio Virgilio. Purtroppo però Cecilia ha fatto uno sbaglio e, al posto del lievito, ha messo un cucchiaio di aglio in polvere. Quando lei ha servito la torta alla famiglia, c'è stato un momento di silenzio, ma nessuno, compreso il loro coniglio Emilio, ha avuto il coraggio di dirglielo.
Benissimo, benissimo, grazie. Oh, dove sono? Oh, I don't know what's happening here. Hang on. I pressed the wrong button.
Io ti vedo.
I think we've just started the clock again. I apologise for that. We do have a little problem, Francesca. I'm sorry about this, but the connection seems to have lost a little bit. But I think we're back. What I'm going to do is just change our connection here, and then that should hopefully balance things out a little. And we should be okay. Now, the fact that we've started that clock again by mistake, I think probably someone's trying to tell us that we actually do need to listen again to the full story to get a little bit of the gist. So could you just read that again, please? Apologies for this, but hopefully it will give everyone a chance, just a little bit more of a chance to get an idea of the story. Again, don't write anything yet. Just try to concentrate on what you're hearing. And our connection seems to be much more stable now, so I think we're good to go. So Francesca, if you can take that away again, please.
Ok, va bene. Gigliola vive a Bisceglie, una meravigliosa località di mare in Puglia. Le sue 2 figlie sono fortunate perché ogni giorno giocano sugli scogli oppure cercano le conchiglie in spiaggia. Ma ieri il tempo era brutto, quindi le 2 bambine sono rimaste a casa e hanno aiutato la loro mamma. Giulia ha svuotato la lavastoviglie e Cecilia ha preparato una torta alle ciliegie e vaniglia per il compleanno di suo zio Virgilio. Purtroppo però Cecilia ha fatto uno sbaglio e, al posto del lievito, ha messo un cucchiaio di aglio in polvere. Quando lei ha servito la torta alla famiglia, c'è stato un momento di silenzio, ma nessuno, compreso il loro coniglio Emilio, ha avuto il coraggio di dirglielo.
Benissimo, grazie mille And sorry
Prego.
about my coughing in the middle of that. I thought I had muted my microphone. I apologise for that. We're getting there today. We're getting there slowly. Okay, what we're going to do now is go through this sentence by sentence, and you're going to listen to each of the sentences, and this is the time that you're going to write things down. So, Francesca will read the sentence slowly. This is when you should start writing. Make sure you don't get held up on one word. If you don't know the word, just leave it blank and keep going. We'll put the punctuation back on the screen. Let's see. Yep, so we've got the punctuation back on the screen. And Francesca, if you would like to start with that first sentence, please, now.
Va bene. Gigliola vive a Bisceglie, virgola. Una meravigliosa località di mare in Puglia. Punto.
Francesca, could you just read that again? Your microphone seems to have gone very quiet all of a sudden. I'm not sure if anything's changed.
Can you hear me okay?
No, we can't hear you. Are you using...
Let me change the settings.
Sorry about this. As you, I'm sure, understand, these are live broadcasts and sometimes things go wrong. But I think we...
Can you hear me okay?
That's better now, Francesca. Yep.
Ok.
Okay, so let me...
Sorry, scusate.
Okay, so Francesca, if you can take that one again, please. So the
Ok.
first sentence again. We'll get
Va
there
bene.
eventually.
Gigliola vive a Bisceglie, virgola. Una meravigliosa località di mare in Puglia. Punto.
Okay, so we're giving you some time to think about that. Let's do this one more time. And don't forget those punctuation marks. And the punctuation marks are on the screen, so you can see them there. And again, if you don't recognise a word, just leave a space and move on. And then you can go back and make the word up once you've got the whole sentence. Okay, one more time, Francesca, please.
Va bene. Gigliola vive a Bisceglie, virgola. Una meravigliosa località di mare in Puglia. Punto.
Okay, so I think we've heard this 3 times now. I've lost track a little with all the problems, but I think we've heard it 3 times. So let's now look at what this sentence should look like. So we are talking about Gigliola, which is a name, and you'll notice there's a lovely GLI in here. In fact, I'm quite sure you've spotted that this is what we're practicing in this text already. So Gigliola vive a Bisceglie. Now, Bisceglie is, as explained here, una meravigliosa località di mare in Puglia. So it's a marvellous town by the sea in Puglia, in the Puglia region. And we just discovered this week that Olivera, one of our colleagues, spent some time in Bisceglie, and she was very pleased to read this text. Okay, so what are we looking for here, Francesca? What are the things that we're looking for?
Well, as you mentioned, Mark, we want to consolidate what we did in our previous live, which means working on that y sound, which at times can prove a little bit tricky. So we have words like Gigliola, Bisceglie, and indeed Puglia, and yes, also meravigliosa. So 4 y in one sentence.
Watch also località with your accent there on località di mare in Puglia. Okay, I would love to know how you did in this sentence. So if you got everything right, maybe you could use the comments to let us know if you get everything right. Put in 3 points if you got everything right. If you got almost everything right, put in 2 points. And if you got some of it right, put in 1 point. So I'd love to see some 3s, 2s and 1s in the comments. And that way we'll see how things are going So we can get ready to move on now, Francesca, with our second sentence.
Ok,
I'll bring the punctuation back on the screen and you can take the second sentence. It's a bit longer this time.
perfetto. Le sue due figlie sono fortunate perché ogni giorno giocano sugli scogli oppure cercano le conchiglie in spiaggia. Punto.
Benissimo. Okay, so we're going to listen to this sentence again. We'll hear it one more time after this, but take that again now, Francesca, please.
Le sue due figlie sono fortunate perché ogni giorno giocano sugli scogli oppure cercano le conchiglie in spiaggia. Punto.
Okay, hopefully you're all writing this down and getting a chance to work through it. Now we're going to hear it one more time. So, Francesca, would you like to read this final sentence?
Ok.
Or the final
Le
time?
sue due figlie sono fortunate perché ogni giorno giocano sugli scogli oppure cercano le conchiglie in spiaggia. Punto.
Okay, so that is our second sentence. Again, lots of nice y sounds in there. A couple of tricky words of vocabulary. Let's have a look at what that looked like. So here we've got le sue due figlie, her two daughters, sono fortunate, are lucky, perché ogni giorno, because every day, giocano sugli scogli, they play on the cliffs, on the rocks, oppure cercano le conchiglie in spiaggia, or they look for shells on the beach. So, a couple of tricky words, as I said. Scogli, a new one. Conchiglie, you may be familiar with the conchiglie pasta, but
Sì.
these are shells. Francesca, what would you want to pick up on there?
Sì, again, we have figlie, scogli, conchiglie for you to practice the y sound. And also make sure you have spelled conchiglie with a nice ch in order to keep the hard k sound. Otherwise, it would sound like a conciglie, which
Yeah.
is not what we want.
Indeed not. So that is a really good point there. The CHI is the key sound. Otherwise, it would be CI and that would be chi. You know that as in ci sono and so on. But CHI, so conchiglie. Right, last time I saw lots of threes and a few twos, a couple of ones too. Remember, regardless of what stage you're at, this is good practice for even trying to work out how some of these words work. And one of the things I love about dictation is that you don't actually need to know what things mean in order to get everything right, because it's really about focusing on spelling. And I guess one of the most important aspects of this is learning how to spell words means, or learning how the Italian spelling system works, means that when you hear a word, you know what to look up in the dictionary. If you don't know how a word is spelt, then sometimes it's difficult to know what you're looking up. So that's one of the key points here. Lots of threes this time. Well done, everyone. Francesca, will we move on to the next sentence?
Sì, sì.
Okay.
Ma ieri il tempo era brutto, virgola. Quindi le due bambine sono rimaste a casa. e hanno aiutato la loro mamma. Due punti.
Okay, so that was the first time. Let's hear it again, Francesca.
Ok. Ma ieri il tempo era brutto, virgola. Quindi le due bambine sono rimaste a casa e hanno aiutato la loro mamma. Due punti.
So be careful as to how this particular sentence ends, because it's not quite the end of the sentence, okay? Let's hear it one more time, Francesca.
Ok. Ma ieri il tempo era brutto, virgola. Quindi le due bambine sono rimaste a casa e hanno aiutato la loro mamma. Due punti.
Okay, so let's have a look at what this sentence looks like. I've got some double letters in here that we've got to think about here. Ma ieri il tempo era brutto, but yesterday the weather was nasty. It wasn't nice weather. Quindi le due bambine sono rimaste a casa. Therefore, the two girls, the two children, stayed at home, sono rimaste a casa e hanno aiutato la loro mamma, and they helped their mum. Okay, Francesca, what would we like to pick up on here?
Just the verb rimanere, to stay, to remain, which in the past takes essere to form the past tense, the passato prossimo. So sono rimaste, not hanno rimaste.
Perfetto. And of course, we need therefore that e ending, rimaste, because we're talking about the due bambine. Benissimo. Okay, let's see your numbers again for this one. 3 if you got it all right, 2 if you're almost there, and 1 if you made a few mistakes. Okay. Joyce is saying, I thought maieri was a strange, was a single word, a strange word, but a single word. Ma ieri, but yesterday. Okay, good. It's always great to see your feedback like this. So thank you, Joyce. Let's go on and do the next sentence, please, Francesca.
Ok, Giulia ha svuotato la lavastoviglie e Cecilia ha preparato una torta alle ciliegie e vaniglia per il compleanno di zio Virgilio.
Ok, come va Fergus stamattina?
Sì, mi dispiace di nuovo,
Tranquilla.
vuole fare il dittato anche il mio cane.
Not to worry. Okay, let's hear it again.
Ok, Giulia ha svuotato la lavastoviglie e Cecilia ha preparato una torta alle ciliegie e vaniglia per il compleanno di zio Virgilio. Punto.
Just leaving you some time to think about this. Once again, any words that you don't recognise, just leave a space and move on. Okay, Francesca, one more time, please.
Ok. Giulia ha svuotato la lavastoviglie e Cecilia ha preparato una torta alle ciliegie e vaniglia per il compleanno di zio Virgilio. Punto.
Okay, it's time now to have a look at what the sentence looks like. So let's take a look now. I think we've got it here. Giulia ha svuotato la lavastoviglie. So we've got more names here in this one. These are the two daughters of Gigliola. Giulia ha svuotato la lavastoviglie. She emptied the dishwasher. E Cecilia ha preparato una torta alle ciliegie e vaniglia. So she made a cake, a tart, with cherries and vanilla, alle ciliegie e vaniglia. Why? Per il compleanno di zio Virgilio. For zio Virgilio, Uncle Virgilio's birthday. Okay, so Francesca, any comments on this?
Maybe some new words. La lavastoviglie, the dishwasher, and vaniglia, maybe with a nice, both with a nice l sound. Lavastoviglie, vaniglia.
Perfetto. But we've got three names here: Giulia, Cecilia, Virgilio. I think there's a little name pattern going on in this family. They all seem to like the names.
Sì.
Okay, so a little more complicated, that one. Again, let's see your numbers. 3 if you got it all right, 2 if you made a few mistakes, and 1 if you made a few more mistakes. Okay, Francesca, would you like to read the next part of the sentence?
Certo. Purtroppo, virgola, però, virgola, Cecilia ha fatto uno sbaglio e, virgola, al posto del lievito, virgola, ha messo un cucchiaio di aglio in polvere. Punto esclamativo.
So some new punctuation at the end there. Make sure you get that. Our previous sentence, I think people found that a little more difficult. A few ones there, some twos. Let's see how we got on with this one. Let's hear it again.
Ok. Purtroppo, virgola, però, virgola, Cecilia ha fatto uno sbaglio e, virgola, al posto del lievito, virgola, ha messo un cucchiaio di aglio in polvere. Punto esclamativo.
I realise our timer has got to 0, but we're not worrying about that today because we had a couple of false starts and some complications with our microphones and everything. So let's just ignore the timer and listen to this one more time.
Purtroppo, virgola, però, virgola, Cecilia ha fatto uno sbaglio e, virgola, al posto del lievito, virgola, ha messo un cucchiaio di aglio in polvere. Punto esclamativo.
Benissimo. Now, I have lost track. Was that our second or our third reading, Francesca?
The third.
The third, okay. Let's bring it on the screen then. We've got purtroppo però. However, Cecilia ha fatto uno sbaglio. So unfortunately, however, Cecilia made a mistake. Uno sbaglio. E al posto del lievito, instead of yeast, perhaps a new word for you, ha messo un cucchiaio di aglio in polvere. She put in a spoonful of garlic powder rather than yeast. I don't know how she made that mistake. I'm sure she would have smelt it. Okay, so what's your O there, però, the accented O. And I think what lots of people are finding tricky is when it's GLI and when it's just LI. So we've got Joyce saying, I'm so confused, I wrote gli on ciliegie. And I think we've Malene saying, so did I. Lydia, I'm putting Lee everywhere, also in Ciliegie. Julia, this is very, very natural. And this is one of the reasons why this kind of activity is good. It gives you a chance to really focus on the spelling here.
Sì, ciliegia is a common mistake among Italians as well because it actually sounds like ciliegie. So don't worry too much about that. And as for names like Giulia, normally when they are Roman names like Cecilia, Giulia, Virgilio, they don't have a GL. So if it's
Yes.
a name of Roman origin, let's say.
That is a very interesting topic. I'd never thought about that, so that's a good little tip. Thank you.
Prego.
Um, Rachel's saying, I keep thinking Virgola is a name. It is.
It's a nice name, maybe for a cat or a dog.
Okay, so that was our second last sentence. Let's listen to the final sentence now, Francesca.
Perfetto. Quando lei ha servito la torta alla famiglia, c'è stato un momento di silenzio, ma nessuno, virgola, compreso il loro coniglio Emilio, virgola, ha avuto il coraggio di dirglielo. Punto.
Some tricky words in this sentence. Okay, let's hear it again, Francesca.
Ok. Quando lei ha servito la torta alla famiglia, c'è stato un momento di silenzio, ma nessuno, virgola, compreso il loro coniglio Emilio, virgola, ha avuto il coraggio di dirglielo. Punto.
Okay, so this is our final sentence, and hopefully you're following the story, and also getting some of these tricky words. I like Margaret's response to this last bit of the story.
Che simpatica. Ciao Margaret.
Okay, so let's hear it one more time, please, Francesca.
Ok. Quando lei ha servito la torta alla famiglia, c'è stato un momento di silenzio, ma nessuno, virgola, compreso il loro coniglio Emilio, ha avuto il coraggio di dirglielo.
Okay, let's take a look at what this sentence looks like then. Quando lei ha servito la torta alla famiglia. So we're talking, I think, about Cecilia,
Sì,
Giulia's daughter. So when Cecilia served the cake to the family, c'è stato un momento di silenzio. There was a moment of silence. Ma nessuno, but no one, compreso il loro coniglio Emilio, even their rabbit Emilio, a little bit random, but it's got some lovely L sounds in there, ha avuto il coraggio di dirglielo. No one had the courage to tell her it. Okay? Dirglielo. Very tricky word there, Francesca. Anything
sì.
else you want to comment on here?
Coniglio, obviously, it's a very useful word to practice your gli sound, so coniglio. And nessuno, no one, or anyone with a double S, so nessuno.
Yep, great. So, hopefully you've followed that whole story and you have been testing yourself on the pronunciation and the way in which the Italian words are written. And as we've seen, these y and the l sounds, so the Emilio versus sbaglio and so on, quite tricky stuff, but we certainly have seen some challenging things in this text. I'm seeing some ones, some twos, a few threes in the last part as well. So
Wow.
well done, everyone. Now, that is really the end of our session, the end of the dictation challenge. And we would love to know if you found that useful, if you found it interesting, if you found it a good way to practice. Because as you know, we're trying different things in our lives and we are basically trying to see what you like and what you find useful. So please do let us know in the comments if you found this useful, if you think this is a useful thing to be working on and we can do more dictations in the future. Any further thoughts there, Francesca, on the whole idea of dictation?
I just think it's such a great exercise
Oh,
because at times,
scusa, Francesca, we've lost you again. Your microphone's gone down again,
really, can you hear me?
very very quietly.
No. Keep talking, Mark.
Okay, well, while Francesca's sorting her microphone, what I will do is mention one other thing, and that is we've got another Italian live coming up this afternoon UK time, 3:30 p.m. UK time, and the reason for that is that we are going to be telling you a little more about the premium version of our materials, of all our courses, and you can find out more because it's all to do with our Black Friday sale. We are having a Black Friday sale this week, and you can save 40% on all our courses by using that coupon code BF2020. So on today at 3:30 in the afternoon, we're going to be having another Italian live, and basically in that one, we're going to be showing you inside the Coffee Break Academy, explaining how you can access all of our courses and what's involved in those courses. Obviously, those are paid courses, and it's a really good opportunity if you want to become a Coffee Break Italian premium member, as it were. Then that would be a really good way to find out more about them this afternoon at 3:30. So 3:30 UK time, that will be 10:30 Eastern. And I realise that many of our Australian and New Zealand friends are watching us today. On Friday of this week at 8 o'clock in the morning UK time, I think that's 6 p.m. Sydney time, I'm not 100% sure, but it will be Friday evening Australia and New Zealand time. We're going to do a special live for all of our languages, and we're trying to do that then so that we can answer any questions you may have. I realise it's not always possible to listen live, so that's when we're doing our general live broadcast for our Australian and New Zealand friends. Francesca, are you back with us?
Can you hear me now,
We can
Mark?
hear you now perfectly, yeah, thank you.
Okay, sorry about that.
No problem. You were going to tell us some thoughts on dictation.
I was just saying that I think it's a great exercise because at times students think it's an old-fashioned way of learning languages, but it's actually very useful because you can put together a lot of skills, and it's something you can do probably just listening to one of our podcasts. Just listen to it, write it down, use your knowledge of the language you have so far, and then you can simply check against the notes and reflect on what you did well and what went wrong. And it's a great way to improve your language learning skills.
I totally agree, and I don't know if that makes me old-fashioned. If you're saying you think some people find it old-fashioned, but I love dictation. I think it's a brilliant exercise, and I think it's really really useful. Dinah's
Yes.
saying a good story. I love dictation. Anna saying that was hard. Margaret saying dirglielo, okay, ma coniglio Emilio, mamma mia. Lydia saying great exercise. I will always remember the words I got wrong. That's the whole point.
That's the idea, yeah.
Sheila saying great to do this, thank you. Sarah, really helpful exercise. Chris saying molto utile. Let's see what else. Paul saying really helpful but a wee bit disheartening. Don't be disheartened. It's really about trying to think about the words that you've maybe got wrong and then seeing why you got them wrong and then working out the pronunciation and the spelling that runs alongside them.
Yes, the good thing is that you will not get those words wrong again. So
Exactly.
that's the good thing about dictations.
Nor will you put garlic in your cherry and vanilla
Oh
tart.
no.
um, Pat saying, I generally can't get to these live sessions. Can I access them later? Yes, we leave our live sessions available for a week after the session, so you're always able to watch later. Christian saying, I'm in a meeting, but I joined for support even though I could only listen. Though I couldn't listen.
Che simpatico.
Diane saying, a great brain exercise to start the day. William, bite-sized chunks are an excellent idea. Julia loves dictation, such great listening and writing practice. Des saying it's very useful, helps a lot with writing. Joyce has got a question about Black Friday. Can I pay in advance for season 3? I know it's not advertised yet. No, we never sell things before they exist. Definitely not, I'm afraid. So it is coming, but you can't buy it yet. Rachel saying, great lesson. Denise, I had some help. I'm loving Coffee Break Italian season 2. Really good notes, etc. Thank you, Denise. That's good to know.
Il decorator.
Of course, yeah. Of course, yeah. I'm forgetting. Trisha makes you really think about all aspects of the language, spelling, grammar, etc. Brilliant. Okay. Let's have a look. Susan is saying, really helpful and challenging. It would also help to have the English translation repeated. Thank you both so much. Good. Okay, we'll consider that. Malin saying, very good practice, but a bit stressful and tricky. I found that with trickier words, I had to print them, whereas words I'm more familiar with, I could... that's interesting. I could write and go cursive, in cursive. I would love more dictation exercises. Thank you, Malin. Mario's asking, what does Coniglio Emilio mean? So Coniglio's a rabbit, and Emilio is the rabbit's name. That's part of the story. As I say, it's a little bit strange, but it was just in there to practice these sounds. Okay, lots of really useful comments there. Julia's saying, I use the travel diaries for dictation practice. That's really interesting. Excellent.
Yeah, it's a perfect thing to do.
Helen's asking about sugli scogli. That's a good point. Not familiar with the sugli. Where can I learn this construction? Francesca, we've talked about that in our episodes, haven't we?
Yes, so this is basically the preposition su, meaning on top of something, combined with the definite article gli for gli scogli. So we have I was talking about this morning. I think it's episode 25 and 26 or 24 and 25 of Coffee Break Italian season 2, which deals with prepositions.
That's impressive, Francesca. Very impressive. Excellent. So you can check that out. Season 2 episodes around 24, 25, 26. Katra saying, it was a boost for my confidence. Fantastic. That's what we love to hear. Joyce loves these lessons. So helpful. Thank you. I like this. Sheila arrived a little bit late, so didn't understand the point of what we were doing and then started writing the punctuation. And Phil says, great exercise. You nailed it. Well done. Grazie mille, Phil. Grazie. Okay, so as I said, another live this afternoon at 3:30 p.m. to focus specifically on our premium courses, on the courses in the Coffee Break Academy, to explain more about them and to answer any questions that you may have if you're considering buying one of them. We will be looking at the courses in detail. We'll be going into the Coffee Break Academy and seeing what's involved there. And so you can join me this afternoon for that. If you're already a premium member, if you already subscribe to our courses, if you're part of the Coffee Break Academy, then you may not necessarily want to come along to that because you obviously are already in there. If you want to find out about our other courses, of course, you can indeed come along. But in the meantime, if you if you just go to our website, which is radiolingua.com, you'll see on there the links all about Black Friday. And you'll get all the details there about the offers that are on this week. Our next normal Italian live, our next Italian live lesson will be on, let me see if I can work this out. It will be on the 8th of December. We'll be back on the 8th of December. Francesca, can you remember what we're doing next time?
We're doing a listening special.
A listening special, excellent. Well, we can look forward to that on the 8th of December. But for now, we'd like to say a huge thank you to all of you for joining us, for staying to the end of this live broadcast. And as ever, we'd like to wish you well with your continued language learning. Grazie mille, grazie Francesca.
Grazie a te, Mark. I was actually thinking maybe we're doing translation. Now I'm confused, so we'll let you know in advance.
I think it is translation because I think our listening one is for the following week.
Yes, sorry, I got confused. So it's translation next
Translation
time.
next time. Ok, grazie mille e arrivederci. Buona giornata
Ciao
a
a
tutti.
tutti.